So hello and welcome to our new video of the playlist PL-900 Microsoft Power Platform Fundamentals. In this video we will talk about common data services. This is the episode 4. If you didn't see the previous episodes, do watch them, subscribe our channel. Let's get started. So in this video we are gonna go deep into common data services in the Power Platform. Let's have a look at the things what we are going to learn in this video. So first of all, I will explain what environment entity fields and relationships in the common data services, and you would be able to describe the differences between common data services and common data model. And you would be able to explain use cases and limitations of business rules and process flows. So this is the overview of today's video. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. So if we talk about common data services, the common data services is a cloud-based solution that easily structures a variety of data and business logic to support interconnected applications and processes in a secure and compliant manner. Common data services is managed and maintained by Microsoft and is available globally but deployed geographically to comply with your potential data residency. So it is not designed for standalone or used in your own server. So you will need an internet connection to access and use it. The common data services is designed to be your central data repository for your business data. Behind the scenes, it powers many Microsoft Dynamics 365 solutions such as field service marketing, customer services, and sales. It is also available as a part of Power Apps and Power Automate with native connectivity built right in. Let's move on to next page. So here we discuss the offering of common data services. So this is a visualization which brings together the many offerings of common data services. As you can see already, the common data service offer a great deal of functionality. So let me take you through this functionality one by one. So let's look at the security first. Common data service handles authentication with Azure Active Directory to allow for conditional access and multi-factor authentication. It supports authorization down to the row and field level and also provides rich auditing capabilities. So what about logic? Common data services allows you to easily apply business logic at the data level regardless of how a user is interacting with the data. With the same rule applied, these rules could be related to the duplicate detection. Common data services offer you the control to shape your data, allowing you to discover model validations and report on your data. This control ensures your data looks the way you want, regardless of how it is used. So the next offering is storage. Common data services stores your physical data in the Azure cloud. This cloud-based storage removes the burden of worrying about where your data lives or how it scales. These concerns are all handled for you. And the last offering is common data service connects in different way to support your business needs. APIs, webhooks, eventing, and data export give you flexibility to get the data in and out. As you can see, common data service is very powerful cloud-based solution for storing and working with your business data. So that's all are the offering of CDS, or we can say common data service. So let's understand what is entity and fields. So in a simple way, we can say the entities are the tables and the fields are described as the columns of that table. So what is entity and fields? An entity is similar to a table in a database or in an Excel workbook in the way it stores data. It is a logical structure containing records that are made up of fields, or put up simply rows and columns. This is a sample screenshot of standard account entity, and various type of fields it includes are mainly two types of entity, which are standard and complex. A standard entity is a base set of entities that are created for every instance of a common data service. You can add more fields to any entity, but you can only delete fields from a custom entities. These entities can contain complex server-side business logic, including real-time workflows or plugins. Some of the entities that are used in Dynamic 365 application are super complex. So now, what are fields? So fields are a way to store a discrete piece of information with an error card in an entity. You might think of them as a column in Excel field have types, meaning that you can store data of a certain type in a field that matches the data type. For example, if you have a solution that requires data, then you would store the data in a field with a type of date. Similarly, if you want to store a number, then you would store a number in the field with the type number. So now let's understand the relationship of these entities. So entities that relate to one another have a relational connection relationship between entities exist in many forms. But the two most common are one-to-many and many-to-many, both of which are supported by common data services. One-to-many relationships are also known as parent-child relationships. If you want to know an example, an invoice can have 0, 1 or many lines, but the line item will always be related to just one invoice, which is a parent record. Typically, the child record will not exist without a parent record, and splitting the data into different entities make for an efficient solution design that can scale. But knowing how to split the data into entities can be difficult. Thankfully, common data services already contains many of these entities that most organizations will need. Using standard entities and extending them will ensure that you are building solution around a proven scalable way of storing the data that is used by your solution. Now let's understand what are the environments in the common data services. So the environments are used to store, manage and share your organization's business data apps and flows in the Power Platform. Each environment allows you to provision one common data services database or use within that environment common data service environment. Each environment allows you to provision one common data service database or use within that environment. Common data service environments allow you to manage user access security setting and storage that is associated with the database. Each environment is created under a Microsoft Azure Active Directory tenant, and its resource can only be accessed by users. Within that tenant, an environment is also bound to a geographic location, like United States or Europe. When you create a common data service database in an environment, that database is created within data centers. In that geographic location, any items that you create in that environment, including connections, gateway flow that are using this Power Ultimate and more, are also bound to their environment location. So now what are business rules in common data service? You can define business rules that allow you to apply and maintain logics at the data layer instead of an app layer. If you create business rules in common data services, they are in effect regardless of how you interact with the data. Okay, let me give you a tip. Business rules are usually defined for an entity and applies to all forms, but you can define a business rule for a specific business-driven model. This is an example of simple yet powerful use of business rules. The business rule is configured to change the field credit limit. So here is a business rule as on our screen. So let's understand this business rule. So there are the items, and with respect to that item, there are their colors. If the item is apple, then the visibility of the color is set to red. If the item is grape, then the visibility of the color is enabled to the green. And if the item is not apple or the grape, then the visibility of the color has been removed. So that's how we can fix the business rules in our common data services and create more specific business type models or data. Now let's understand what is the Power App Admin Center. So most of the administration settings that you need are available in the Power Apps Admin Center. You should always check for the administration settings as your first step when looking to administrate a common data service. So we have environment data policies, data integration and tenant. So I will explain you to how access the portal. But let me first help you understand what are these category environment in the sections. List all instances of common data services. Environment is where it lists all instances of the common data service under data policies. This section lets you set up policies to restrict what data connector can be used with common data service, to limit what data can flow into or out to the common data service. The next category is data integration. This section lets you create or add predefined connection and monitor these connection between common data service and other stores like Salesforce or SQL Server. The tenant section lets you monitor license and quotas. So let me understand you how will you raise to the admin center of Power Apps. So you can go to the Power App by going into www.powerapps.com. Click on the sign in and provide your tenant administration user and password. So once you are inside the Power App portal, this is where you can see common data service and other services. We will go in detail about all this relevant topic in coming videos, but accessing data center, you can either go to admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com or you can click on this setting button and you can click on admin center from here also, and this takes you to the admin center for the Power Platform. As well, on the left hand side you can see all categories what we mentioned: data integration, data policy and other data admin center, which we will discuss later in the video. So that's how you can access the Power Platform admin center. We will come back to this portal later when we discuss about other topics. So that concludes this lesson in the next section. So this is all about the common data services which are sufficient for our PL-900 exam point of view. We will cover more of the common data services in our next videos. Till then, stay happy. Goodbye.